The galaxy was old, and the Galactic Empire believed it ruled almost all of it. For thousands of years, the Empire had expanded from star to star, crushing resistance, absorbing planets, and enslaving weaker species. To the Empire, this was the natural order. The strong ruled, and the weak obeyed. But then one day they discovered something unexpected. On the edge of their newest expansion route, Imperial scouts detected a small blue planet orbiting a yellow star. It was not remarkable at first glance, just another rocky world with water, forests, mountains, and living creatures. The scanners labeled it as Class M, meaning suitable for habitation. The scouts expected to find primitive life, perhaps animals, perhaps an early civilization still struggling with stone tools. What they found instead confused them. The planet was called Earth. It was filled with strange beings called humans. These creatures had no advanced starships, no faster-than-light drives, no energy weapons. They were far behind the Empire's level of technology. But they were not weak. The scouts reported that humans had already explored their own star system with small vessels. They had machines that could leave their planet, walk on their moon, and send probes far into the void. They had built vast cities of glass and steel, covered their world with networks of roads, satellites, and communication systems. Their armies had rockets, explosives, and machines of war that, while primitive compared to Imperial warships, were still powerful in their own way. The more the scouts studied Earth, the more unsettled they became. Humans had survived countless disasters. Their history was filled with wars, plagues, famines, and even near self-destruction. But every time they rebuilt, every time they adapted, and every time they came back stronger, the Empire laughed at the report. "Another savage world," said one high commander. "They will kneel like all the others. Bring them into the fold or break them." Still, the Emperor was cautious. He sent a diplomatic envoy first, a grand cruiser shining with the symbols of Imperial power. It entered Earth's orbit, casting its shadow over the blue planet. From the cruiser, a message was broadcast to every human government in every language the Empire's machines could translate. "People of Earth, you have been discovered by the Galactic Empire. You will surrender your planet and your resources. You will provide soldiers, workers, and tribute. In return, you will be allowed to live under our rule. Resist and you will be destroyed." The message caused shock and fear across Earth. For the first time, humanity had undeniable proof that they were not alone. Not only that, but the universe was ruled by a vast power that now demanded their obedience. Leaders of Earth gathered in secret meetings. Scientists debated if the aliens were real. Militaries examined the threat, though they knew Earth's weapons were nothing compared to starships that could cross light years in hours. Ordinary people looked up at the sky, wondering if doom was coming. Then finally Earth answered. The humans sent a short message back to the Empire. No threats, no surrender, just words. "Stay away from Earth." The Empire was stunned. It was not the answer they expected. Weak worlds begged for mercy. Lesser species bent the knee. But these humans, with no chance of victory, had dared to defy the greatest power in the galaxy. At first, the Empire thought it was a mistake. Surely the humans did not understand the situation. Surely they did not realize the power of the Empire. But then they received the message again, repeated in every human language, broadcast from every corner of Earth. "Stay away from Earth." The Imperial envoy grew angry. The commander of the cruiser ordered another transmission, this one full of threats. "You do not understand. We have destroyed civilizations greater than yours. We have burned worlds, erased cultures, and broken empires. You cannot resist. Submit now or you will suffer." Still, humanity did not yield. Instead, Earth's nations began to unite. Old rivals set aside their differences. For centuries, humans had fought one another, but now they faced something far greater, a common enemy from the stars. For the first time in history, the planet spoke with one voice. The message was sent again, stronger than before. "Stay away from Earth." The Empire did not take the warning seriously. In the grand halls of the imperial capital, senators and admirals mocked the humans. They called Earth a backwater rock. They said humans were arrogant primitives. To them, it was amusing that such a young species dared to talk back. But some within the Empire were not so certain. One scholar, who had studied the reports carefully, warned the Senate. "These humans are different," he said. "They have a history of survival unlike any we have seen. They adapt quickly. They learn from defeat, and their spirit is unbroken. If we push them, we may awaken something dangerous. The Senate laughed at him. They are insects. The Empire has crushed entire star nations. What can one planet do? And so the decision was made. The Emperor ordered a small fleet to be sent to Earth, not to destroy it, not yet, but to punish it. The fleet would show force, break Earth's defenses, and make the humans kneel. It was a demonstration, meant to remind the galaxy of the Empire's dominance. But far away, on the blue planet, humanity was preparing. On Earth, governments worked together in secret, building alliances, pooling technology, and planning strategies. Engineers studied the broadcast from the Empire, learning everything they could. Military leaders gathered to discuss how to fight a war against a power so advanced. The humans knew they could not match the Empire ship for ship. But they also knew their own strengths. Humans were unpredictable, humans were stubborn, and humans were dangerous when cornered. In bunkers deep beneath the Earth, scientists whispered about hidden projects, weapons not yet revealed, technologies never tested in war. In military bases, soldiers trained for a battle they might not survive. In cities across the world, ordinary people looked at the night sky with fear, but also with defiance. Humanity had been challenged. Humanity had been threatened, and humanity had given its answer. Stay away from Earth. The Empire thought it was just words. They thought humans were foolish, reckless, and doomed. But soon, they would learn what those words truly meant. Because humans did not give warnings lightly, and when humanity made a promise, they kept it. The Galactic Empire did not wait long after receiving humanity's defiant message. To them, it was an insult that could not be ignored. No primitive world had ever dared to resist. No species had ever told the Empire no without paying the price. So the Emperor gave his order. Send a fleet. Make them kneel. The fleet was not the Empire's full strength. It was just a small demonstration, meant to show power and crush resistance. 10 massive warships, each larger than Earth's greatest cities, left Imperial space. Their hulls glowed with energy shields. Their weapons could shatter asteroids. Their engines bent space and time, carrying them across the galaxy in days. To the Empire, this was more than enough. When the fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system, the commanders laughed. Before them was a young star with scattered planets, belts of ice and dust. And around the third planet, glowing blue with oceans and white clouds, was Earth. The Imperial commander sent a message to the planet. Humans of Earth, this is your final warning. Surrender now, or we will bring fire upon you. On Earth, every government received the signal. Every screen, every satellite, every listening post was filled with the Empire's words. Fear spread across the world. People prayed. Families held each other close. The unknown had finally arrived, but Earth's leaders did not bend. A reply was sent, short and simple. Stay away from Earth. The commander of the Imperial fleet laughed. Foolish creatures. They still do not understand. He gave the order. Advance. The warships moved closer, passing the orbit of Jupiter, then Mars. Their engines burned bright, leaving trails of light behind them. The closer they came, the more confident they felt. Earth looked small, fragile, defenseless. But then, the unexpected happened. As the fleet crossed into Earth's outer defense line, their sensors began to pick up strange signals. Static filled their systems. Navigation went wrong. Targeting systems blinked and failed. What is happening? One officer asked. The commander frowned. It is interference. But how? The truth was simple. Humans had been preparing. Long before the fleet arrived, Earth's scientists had filled space with hidden satellites and jamming devices. They used signals, decoys, and clever tricks to confuse Imperial systems. Humans could not build warships as large or powerful as the Empire's, but they understood something the Empire had forgotten. War was not only about strength. War was about strategy. The fleet continued forward, but every moment became harder. Their scanners lied. Their maps shifted. Their communications cracked with noise. Then the first strike came. From the shadow of the moon, hidden launch silos opened. Dozens of missiles shot upward, their engines blazing. They were small compared to Imperial weapons, but they carried nuclear warheads, technology humans had perfected for centuries. The missiles streaked through space, faster than expected, guided by hidden human computers. They slammed into the lead Imperial ship. The explosion was bright, a flash that lit up the darkness. The warship's shields flickered. Its hull cracked. The mighty vessel shook under the force of weapons it had never expected from such a young species. The commander roared, "Destroy them! Burn that world!" Imperial cannons fired. Beams of energy tore across space, striking the moon's surface, blasting craters into its soil. Human bases were destroyed in seconds. But the humans had planned for this too. Many of the silos were decoys, empty and useless. The real launchers were hidden deeper, still firing more missiles. For the first time in centuries, the Empire's warships felt real damage. They had fought powerful empires before, but always in open battles with fleets against fleets. This was different. This was ambush. This was guerrilla war. On Earth, people cheered as news spread. The Empire's ships were not untouchable. They could be hurt. Hope sparked across the world, but the fight was far from over. The Imperial fleet regrouped, shields glowing bright again. They fired at Earth satellites, destroying hundreds in seconds. They sent drones into orbit to hunt for human weapons. They unleashed storms of fire that burned through the sky. Still, the humans resisted. From underground bases, human fighters launched swarms of small spacecraft, crude compared to Imperial ships, but fast and full of explosives. They were like insects compared to the Empire's giants, but they swarmed in numbers. They darted between the warships, dropping bombs, firing rockets, and crashing themselves into the shields. The commander grew angry. Why do they fight like this? Why do they not surrender? His officers were uneasy. They do not fear death, sir. They fight as if every one of them is ready to fall as long as they strike us first. The battle grew worse for the Empire. One of their warships, damaged by repeated nuclear strikes, lost its shields. Human fighters rushed in, crashing their ships into weak points. The mighty vessel broke apart, exploding into a burning ball of debris. When the humans saw it fall, the world erupted in celebration. Against all odds, they had destroyed one of the Empire's ships. The commander of the fleet was furious. "Enough of this! Burn their cities to ash!" But when the fleet prepared to fire on Earth's surface, something unexpected happened again. From the planet's orbit, hidden under layers of camouflage, a new kind of weapon came online. A massive railgun built secretly in orbit, powered by Earth's energy grids, fired a slug of metal at incredible speed. It tore through space and slammed into another Imperial warship. The ship's shields collapsed. The hull ripped apart. The crew screamed as their vessel exploded. Now the Empire had lost 2 ships. The commander's anger turned into something else: fear. This was supposed to be simple. This was supposed to be easy. Yet these humans, these primitives, were forcing him to retreat. For hours, the battle raged. Earth's defenses fired everything they had. The Empire struck back with fury. But for every human base destroyed, another one appeared. For every satellite lost, another was activated. Humans fought with a determination the Empire had never seen. Finally, the commander gave the order no Imperial officer ever wanted to give: retreat. The surviving warships turned, their engines blazing, and fled from Earth's orbit. Broken, humiliated, and scarred, the fleet escaped into faster-than-light travel, leaving behind wreckage, debris, and silence. On Earth, the people celebrated. They had survived the first clash. They had fought the Empire and lived. But deep down, leaders and generals knew the truth. This was only the beginning. The Empire would not forget this defeat. They would return, and next time they would come in greater numbers. Still, humanity had proven something. The warning had not been empty. The Empire now knew what those words meant. Stay away from Earth. The Empire's retreat shocked the galaxy. For the first time in living memory, a fleet of the Galactic Empire had been driven back, not by a rival empire, not by some ancient power, but by a single planet still learning how to reach the stars. Whispers spread in the hidden corners of space. Traders carried stories. Spies carried rumors. On distant worlds, oppressed species heard the tale and wondered, if humans can resist, why not us? But inside the Empire, anger burned. The Emperor himself was furious. One fleet defeated by primitives? Unacceptable. They will pay for this humiliation. Admirals and generals promised revenge. They said Earth would be crushed. They said humans would be erased. But in secret, many officers asked themselves the same quiet question. How? How did a primitive world survive? The truth was simple. Humans had prepared more than anyone guessed. The uniting of Earth on Earth, victory brought celebration, but also urgency. The people had cheered when the Imperial fleet retreated, yet their leaders knew it was only a matter of time before the Empire returned. Next time it would not be 10 ships. It would be hundreds. So the nations of Earth met again. For the first time in history, they sat at the same table not as enemies but as allies. Old grudges, ancient rivalries, and borders that once divided them were set aside. Humanity faced extinction, and survival demanded unity. Thus, the United Earth Defense Command was born. Soldiers wore a new insignia, Earth itself surrounded by stars. Engineers and scientists from every nation worked together in massive underground complexes. Plans that had once been secret projects of single countries were now shared openly. For the first time, humanity became one. The hidden projects. Long before the Empire arrived, humanity had feared an alien encounter. Some governments had prepared in secret. There were deep space monitoring stations hidden in asteroid belts disguised as rocks. There were stealth satellites built with special coatings to hide from scanners. There were prototype warships, crude but powerful, hidden in ocean caves and mountain bunkers. Most of these had never been tested. Some were incomplete, but now they became humanity's hidden edge. One project was the Black Sky program, a network of railguns and missile silos spread across Earth's orbit, camouflaged as debris. Another was Project Ghost, a fleet of stealth ships built to confuse sensors and strike suddenly. And then there was Project Dawn, a bold experiment with captured alien technology. During the first clash, humans had managed to recover fragments of Imperial wreckage. Pieces of armor, broken drones, damaged weapons, all were rushed to secret labs. Scientists tore them apart, learning how they worked, adapting what they could. Humans could not copy everything, but they could learn quickly. And humans had a gift that even the Empire did not understand: adaptability, the spirit of survival. While generals planned, while scientists built, ordinary humans prepared in their own way. Farmers planted more crops, ensuring food for long wars. Workers built shelters and stockpiles. Teachers told children the truth, that the future would be hard, but also that they must never give up everywhere. The spirit of survival grew stronger. On one city's streets, murals appeared, paintings of human soldiers standing against alien giants. In villages, people carved the words "Stay away from Earth" into stone walls. Songs were sung, stories were told, and every person understood that they were part of something greater. Unlike the Empire, where ordinary people obeyed blindly, humans fought not because they were forced, but because they chose to fight. That was humanity's hidden edge, the unbreakable will of billions of hearts. Preparing for round 2 in secret bases, new weapons were tested. Railguns fired faster and stronger. Missiles were equipped with smarter guidance systems. Small drones were built to swarm larger ships carrying explosives. Engineers even began to modify civilian technology, turning mining lasers into weapons, turning cargo ships into ramming vessels. The United Earth Defense Command did not rely only on weapons. They trained in new ways. Soldiers learned zero-gravity combat. Pilots practiced in simulators built from scavenged Imperial data. Hackers built programs to attack alien systems, learning to twist signals and create false images on scanners. Every human skill was used. Engineers, farmers, scientists, artists, even children, they all had a role. Humanity was not fighting as nations anymore. Humanity was fighting as a species. The Empire returns months later. The Empire struck again. This time the fleet was larger. 50 ships, each bristling with weapons. To the Empire, it was overwhelming force. To humanity, it was the test they had been preparing for. The fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system, confident after repairs and reinforcements. The Imperial commander, a new one chosen after the last disaster, broadcast a message to Earth. Humans, you resisted once, but now the true power of the Empire has come. You will kneel or you will burn. On Earth, the reply came quickly. Stay away from Earth, the commander sneered. So be it. The second battle. The fleet advanced, but this time the humans were ready. As the ships crossed the asteroid belt, hidden guns activated. Rail slugs fired from rocks that looked ordinary, but hid deadly weapons. Explosions lit up the darkness. The fleet tightened its formation, shields glowing, but then Project Ghost was unleashed. Dozens of small stealth ships emerged from shadow, their engines silent, their signals hidden. They slipped past sensors and launched swarms of drones, Explosives tore into weak points. The Imperial ships fired back, destroying many, but confusion spread. Their scanners showed enemies where none existed. Their systems were hacked, their targeting thrown into chaos. Then came Project Dawn. From Earth's orbit, humans launched something the Empire never expected, a weapon built from their own stolen technology. Energy beams, crude but functional, lanced through space. One Imperial cruiser was struck directly, its shields collapsing. The humans cheered as another enemy ship exploded, but the Empire fought back with fury. Their weapons cut through swarms of human fighters. Entire human bases were vaporized. Cities on Earth trembled under bombardment from orbit. The cost was terrible. Still, the humans did not break. A battle of wills. For every weapon lost, the humans built another. For every soldier who fell, another took their place. One human general, speaking to his troops, said, "We are not fighting for conquest. We are not fighting for power. We are fighting for our home, and that makes us stronger than them." The Empire had numbers. The Empire had technology. But the humans had something the Empire could not understand: the refusal to surrender. After days of fighting, the fleet began to falter. They had destroyed much of Earth's defenses, but they had lost ships, more than they had expected. And worse, they realized that every hour gave humans more time to adapt, more time to learn, more time to fight harder. The Imperial commander felt the same fear as the last one. These creatures, they are relentless. They fight as if defeat is impossible. Finally, after heavy losses, the order was given again: retreat. The Empire's second fleet pulled away, burning with anger but also scarred with fear. Humanity stands when the battle ended. Earth was wounded but alive. Cities were damaged, ships were lost, and many lives were gone. Yet humanity had once again survived the impossible. On every screen and every language, a new message was sent into space, not only to the Empire, but to the galaxy. We are humans. We will not bow. Stay away from Earth. The galaxy listened. The oppressed listened. Even some within the Empire listened. And everywhere one truth became clear. Humanity's hidden edge was not just weapons or technology. It was the unbreakable will to fight for freedom. The second defeat of the Empire at Earth shook the galaxy even more than the first. Entire systems whispered of the impossible. Humans had stood against 50 Imperial warships and survived. For the oppressed worlds of the Empire, it was like a spark in the dark. People who had lived under chains for generations suddenly believed there was hope, and in secret, they began to watch Earth closely, wondering if this strange young species might be the key to freedom. But for the Empire, the defeats were an open wound. The Emperor's rage was legendary. In the grand halls of the capital, he shouted before the Senate, "These creatures shame us. Twice they have defied us. Twice they have bloodied the fleets of the Empire. This cannot be allowed to continue." The admirals bowed low and promised victory next time. But in their hearts, many were uneasy. They had seen the reports. They had studied the battles. And they knew the truth: humans fought differently. Humans were dangerous because they adapted faster than anyone else. Humanity decides to strike back on Earth. The second battle had brought both pride and pain. Entire cities had been scarred. Families mourned their losses. The oceans carried wreckage and the sky still burned with debris, yet humanity did not break. Instead, their determination grew stronger. In the bunkers of the United Earth Defense Command, leaders gathered around glowing screens. They knew the truth: the Empire would never stop. If humanity stayed only on Earth, they would eventually be overwhelmed, so they made a bold decision. "Waiting is not enough," one general said. "If they will not leave us in peace, then we must take the war to them." It was a dangerous plan. Humanity had only a handful of ships capable of traveling far from Earth. Most were slow, fragile, and untested. But humans had always dared the impossible. For the first time, Earth prepared to send war into the stars. The first human fleet. The fleet was small, only a dozen ships. Some were purpose-built warships forged in hidden shipyards. Others were converted mining vessels, armored and armed with railguns. A few were stealth ships, dark and silent, carrying drones. Their mission was not conquest. It was survival. The humans planned to strike at Imperial outposts, supply bases, communication hubs, and mining stations. Not to destroy the Empire, but to weaken it, to slow it down, to send a message. Humanity would not wait to be hunted, and so, under the command of Admiral Reyes, the first human fleet left Earth. Engines roared, stars stretched into lines, and for the first time in history, humanity's soldiers carried war beyond their home system. The first raids, the first target was a small Imperial outpost on the edge of space. It was lightly guarded with only a few ships and automated defenses. To the Empire, it was unimportant. To the humans, it was the perfect test. The fleet struck at night cycle when the outpost was quiet. Stealth ships slipped in first, jamming communications. Then the main ships jumped in, firing railguns and missiles. Explosions tore through the outpost before it even had time to call for help. The battle lasted less than an hour. When it was over, the humans had destroyed the station, captured supplies, and freed dozens of alien prisoners who had been forced to work there. The freed aliens stared at their rescuers in shock. You are humans? You fought the Empire? Yes, Admiral Reyes said simply. And we will fight again. Word spread quickly, the growing legend. The raids continued. Outpost after outpost fell to human strikes. The fleet moved like ghosts, appearing suddenly, striking hard, then vanishing into the stars. The Empire grew frustrated. They sent fleets to hunt the humans, but the humans were never where they expected. They used tricks, decoys, and false signals to stay one step ahead. Soon, alien slaves across the galaxy whispered the same words. The humans are coming. To the oppressed, it was hope. To the Empire, it was fear. New allies in the shadows. During one raid, the humans encountered something unexpected. At a mining station, they freed a group of alien warriors known as the Tyrol. Once proud, the Tyrol had been broken under the Empire's rule. But when they saw humans standing against the impossible, their old spirit returned. We will fight with you, their leader declared. At first, Admiral Reyes hesitated. Trust was dangerous, but soon he realized that this was exactly what humanity needed. The humans could not stand alone forever. Allies were their true strength, and so little by little other species began to join. Small groups at first, rebels and survivors. They offered intelligence, supplies, and even fighters. For the first time, the Empire faced not just humans, but the beginning of a rebellion. Inside the Empire, back in the Imperial capital, unrest grew. Citizens whispered about the defeats. Soldiers questioned their orders. Some senators dared to ask, how can a single planet do this much damage? But the Emperor silenced them with threats. Do not speak of weakness. Speak only of victory. The humans will be crushed. Yet deep in their hearts, many in the Empire wondered if the age of human defiance had only begun. Humanity's strengths. The key to humanity's success was not superior ships. Their technology was still behind. What gave them power was adaptability. When an Imperial weapon appeared, humans studied it, learned its weakness, and built a counter. When the Empire changed tactics, humans invented new strategies. No two battles were the same. Humans were unpredictable, and that made them terrifying. Even their biology gave them an edge. Humans could fight in extreme cold or heat, withstand pain, and survive wounds that would kill most species. Where Imperial soldiers gave up, humans kept going. Where others surrendered, humans pushed forward. It was as if the universe itself had shaped them for survival. The Empire strikes back. The Emperor could not allow the rebellion to grow. He gathered a massive fleet, larger than any before, and sent it to destroy the humans once and for all. Hundreds of warships, escorted by drones and carriers, marched through space. Their goal was simple: find the human fleet, destroy it, and return Earth to ashes. When the news reached Admiral Reyes, he knew humanity could not face such power head-on. Instead, he chose another path. The guerrilla war. The human fleet scattered, splitting into smaller groups. They struck at supply lines, ambushed lone ships, and fled before the main fleet could catch them. Every day, the Empire lost more resources. Every day, their fleet grew more exhausted. And every day, humanity gained more allies. On one world, slaves rose up after hearing of human victories. On another, an Imperial garrison was overwhelmed by rebels shouting, "Stay away from Earth!" The words became a symbol, not just for humans, but for all who dreamed of freedom. The turning point: in one daring mission, humans attacked an Imperial shipyard. The battle was fierce, but when the dust cleared, Dozens of half-built warships lay in ruins. The blow was so great that even the Imperial Senate could no longer hide the truth. The humans were no longer just defending Earth. They were waging war across the stars, and they were winning. The Empire trembles. For the first time in centuries, the Empire faced rebellion on many fronts. Fleets were stretched thin, resources ran short, morale weakened, and in the shadows of the galaxy a legend grew. The legend of a small, stubborn species that had defied the greatest power in the universe. The legend of humans who had given one warning and meant it. The galaxy trembled. Everywhere people spoke of the humans. Some called them reckless, others called them saviors. But none denied the truth. Humanity had done what no other species dared. They had fought the Galactic Empire not once, not twice, but many times. And they were still standing. The Empire had lost outposts, shipyards, and fleets. Rebellions had risen across its worlds, fueled by human raids and victories. Yet the Emperor would not accept defeat. The humans are a disease, he declared before the Senate. They spread hope where there should be fear. They must be erased or the galaxy will crumble. So the Emperor made his final gamble. He ordered the largest fleet in Imperial history. Thousands of ships drawn from every corner of the Empire gathered into one armada. Their engines lit the void like a sea of fire. The target was Earth. The coming storm on Earth. The United Earth Defense Command watched the incoming fleet. Alarms blared. Screens filled with red symbols, each one an enemy warship. Admiral Reyes stood before the council. His face was calm, but his voice was heavy. This is it. The Empire is coming with everything they have. If we fail now, Earth will fall. But if we stand, if we endure, then we will show the galaxy that humanity cannot be broken. Silence filled the room. Then one by one the leaders nodded. Then we fight, said one general, to the last breath. The final preparations Earth had been preparing for this moment. Across the planet, vast underground bunkers were ready to shelter civilians. Orbital defenses, railguns, missile silos, energy beams were powered to full strength. Fleets of fighters waited in hidden hangars. Stealth ships floated silently in the dark, ready to strike. Most importantly, the humans had completed their greatest project, the planetary defense grid. It was a network of satellites, reactors, and shields that encircled Earth. Powered by massive fusion cores, it could create a barrier strong enough to resist even the Empire's mightiest weapons. It was humanity's last card. The Armada arrives. When the Imperial fleet entered the solar system, the stars themselves seemed to vanish under its size. Thousands of ships filled the void, each one armed with enough firepower to destroy a world. The Imperial commander sent a message, his voice dripping with arrogance. Humans of Earth, you have defied us long enough. Kneel now, and your world may survive. Resist, and we will burn your planet until nothing remains. On Earth, the reply came. It was the same as always. Stay away from Earth, the commander snarled. Then die. The Armada advanced. The battle begins. The sky above Earth lit up as the first shots were fired. Imperial warships unleashed storms of energy beams and missiles. The ground shook as the defense grid activated, glowing bright across the heavens. Shields flared, absorbing the deadly fire. From the moon, hidden silos launched thousands of missiles. From Earth's orbit, railguns fired slugs of metal at incredible speed. Human fighters swarmed into space, darting between the massive warships like insects against giants. The battle was chaos. Explosions bloomed in the void. Ships shattered. Debris rained down. The Empire pressed forward, confident in their numbers. But the humans fought with a fury that surprised even their allies. Every time a defense station fell, another came online. Every time a fighter squadron was wiped out, another took its place. Humanity refused to yield. The turning point. At the height of the battle, the Empire's flagship moved into position. It was enormous, larger than any city on Earth, armed with weapons strong enough to tear the planet apart. Its cannons glowed, ready to fire. But then the planetary defense grid unleashed its power. Beams of energy, brighter than the sun, lanced upward from the surface. The grid focused all its power on the flagship. Its shields cracked, then shattered. A second later, the beams tore through the ship's hull. The mighty flagship exploded, breaking apart in a storm of fire. The explosion was so vast that even Earth's surface saw the flash. Across the world, humans cheered. The Empire's fleet faltered. For the first time, doubt spread among them. The fall of the Armada. The battle raged for hours. Humanity fought with everything: missiles, drones, railguns, even kamikaze ramming ships. The Empire destroyed many defenses, but every loss only made the humans fight harder. The allies who had joined humanity rose too. Troll fighters swarmed Imperial cruisers. Rebellion signals lit up across the galaxy, distracting and dividing the Empire's forces. By the end of the battle, the once mighty Armada was broken. Half its ships were destroyed. The rest scattered, retreating into the void. For the third and final time, the Empire had been forced to flee from Earth. Humanity's words, when the last Imperial ship vanished, Admiral Reyes ordered a message to be sent across the galaxy. The words were simple but powerful. "We are humanity. We warned the Empire once. We warned them twice. And now we warn them for the last time. Stay away from Earth." The message spread faster than light. It echoed on rebel worlds, in Imperial courts, and across free stars. And everywhere it was the same. Humans had kept their promise. The aftermath, the Empire, was shattered. Though still vast, it was weakened as rebellion spread like wildfire. Worlds once silent now rose in defiance, inspired by humanity's victory. The Emperor raged, but his words meant little. The legend of humanity had already grown beyond his control, and Earth, though scarred and battered, stood free. Its people had proven themselves not only survivors, but fighters, leaders, and symbols of hope. The legacy. For centuries to come, the galaxy would remember the warning. Some would say humans were reckless. Some would say they were fools. But all agreed they were unbreakable. They were the species who fought an empire and won. The species who taught the galaxy that even the greatest power could fall to courage, unity, and will. And above all, they were the species who gave one warning and never wavered from it.